Hello, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Clint Zoka, and welcome to another My Thoughts On. I got back from seeing the Lego Movie 2, or the Lego Movie 2, the second part in the States, about a few hours ago. And if you want to know what I think of the other three Lego movies, the first one I thought is a masterpiece. It's original, funny, charming, unique. It has a very clever concept behind it, even though it could have been far worse, but it turned out to be a masterpiece. Lego Batman was, well, it used to be the best one, but now it's a Lego movie. That one was really fun. I liked how the movie poked fun at Batman and its history. It's funny, it's imaginative, it's it definitely still has what makes the first Lego movie great with its style and animation. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it very, very much. Lego Ninjago may be a bit of a step down from the other two, but I still enjoyed that too, and that was quite fun. So now we've got the Lego Movie 2, and this time it's not directed by Phil Lord and Chris Miller. It's directed by Mike Mitchell, and you may know him from DreamWorks' Trolls, and I mean, it makes sense, but a bit worried, to be honest. So, what is the Lego Movie 2 about? Now, in order to do this, I'm going to have to kind of spoil the first Lego movie. So, if you don't want the first movie to be spoiled, then, well, I know I may be copying YMS, but this is the only way I'm going to do it. Skip to this point if you don't want spoilers. There's your warning. 3, 2, 1. So, in the first Lego movie at the end, it turns out all of this was in the perspective of a little boy named Finn. And it turns out that his dad was using all the Lego models for a job or anything. But then when the movie, after its great message and the way it went from not only a fantastic movie but to a masterpiece, even though the boy is now allowed to play in his dad's, with his Legos, his sister has to come and play as well. And funnily enough, the Duplo Legos come down to Earth and, well, destroy Bricksburg. There. Sure, it wasn't a lot, but if you haven't seen the first film, then you will have to before watching this. Okay, so after the Duplo Legos successfully destroy Bricksburg, and now it's called Apocalypseburg, and it's like this Mad Max world where everything's destroyed, and it looks cool and all that, and it looks broken, and it's all rusted and battle-like. Emmet, who's voiced once again by Chris Pratt. Elizabeth Banks is back as Lucy. Sorry, Wild Style. And then something happens. There's this ship that comes down from, it's called the Sistar System, which is a really clever name, and they take pretty much like all the main characters, which is Metalbeard, voiced by Nick Offerman, Benny, voiced by Charlie Day, Unikitty, voiced by Alison Brie, and Lucy as well. So Emmett is still just a naive, normal, average guy, but Lucy wants him to be tougher like everyone else. So he goes on a mission to rescue his friends from General Mayhem and Queen whatever one would now be. But then he comes across another character while he goes to save them, named Rex Dangervest, who also happens to be voiced by Chris Pratt as well. And they both have to go on a mission to try and destroy the Sistar system and save their friends from this queen. Simple, right? Yes. Predictable? Yeah. Is it better than the first movie? No. Okay, I'll go through the issues that I had with the movie. First off, this movie repeats itself a little bit from the first film, and not really a spoiler, there is live action scenes in the film where you see Finn and his sister interacting with the Legos, and yeah, it makes the movie far more obvious than it has any right to be. It's not only predictable, but you know exactly where it's going. Granted, the message and the heart's there, but this was in the first Lego movie, and it doesn't feel new or anything like that. It feels kind of the same. And some of the sequences feel the same as well, if the structure feels the same too. I mean, granted, like one, the area that they used to live in is destroyed. Second, they're in a different area where it's like colourful and there's always parties and dancing. And second, um, Emmett is on his own. Unlike where he has to join his friends, here he is actually on his own for the majority of the film. So in a way, it is slightly different from the first film, but it still has similar elements to the first film. And then when it came to the third act, and this does involve Rex, and no, I will not spoil it for you, but it's where the movie, I'll admit, it's kind of clever and funny, but then it just gets like a little. I had that like, huh moment. It got really confusing. Like I didn't quite understand it. I mean, I know it's supposed to be simple, but they made it far too complex, even for someone like me. I mean, okay, I kind of got the point of it, but I couldn't rack my head around it. Okay, so with that said, is this movie an improvement of the first film in terms of comedy? For the most part, yeah. Most of the comedy works. Granted, it does feel a bit simple, and about 99% of it's funny, like the first one. But with the first one, all the jokes hit. They take unpredictable turns. They build up the jokes. Here, it's kind of the same, but some of it's a bit obvious, and some of it's actually funnier than it sounds. Yeah, there's a lot of references, a lot of copyrighted material here, like Marvel, DC, Back to the Future, The Matrix, and even reference Batman at one point in the first song by Queen, Whatever I Wanna Be. Oh, did I forget to mention that this movie's a musical, a jukebox musical, that, unlike Trolls, actually works. Yeah, now I can see why the director of this film. Now I can see why. Well, in other words, I can see how this movie is now directed by Mike Mitchell, because he directed Trolls, and Trolls had musical numbers, and it was a jukebox musical. This one's a jukebox musical, but it works, and they are aware that it's stupid and dumb, but they embrace it. I won't go into the songs separately because they are actually all very good. There's one song where Queen, Whatever I Wanna Be, explains about how she's not evil. There's one song. There's a Everything's Awesome remix. There's Everything's Not Awesome. There's a second one where Queen, Whatever I Wanna Be, sings about marrying Batman, which is quite funny. And then, no joke, there is a song called Catchy Song, and it's like, this song's gonna get stuck inside you, this song's gonna get stuck inside your head. It keeps going like that. I think it's such a brilliant song. Like, I actually still can't get it out of my head. That's how much I enjoyed that song. And the rest of the songs are enjoyable, but that one, wow, it's like the next Can't Stop the Feeling, Everything's Awesome, How Far I'll Go, and all that. Hopefully, I actually wish it does play on radios, because that'd be way better than Greatest Showman, in my opinion. When it does get dramatic, it's not like, oh, I feel sad or anything. You know exactly what's going to happen, and you do like these characters enough, but I don't know. There wasn't a lot of emotional development apart from when it comes to the brother and sister. Okay, granted, the movie may not be anything original or special, and it does kind of repeat itself, and at points being not very interesting. But the comedy, the heart, the energy, the action, everything is still here, and it still shows that the Lego Movie can still have its Lego-ness. Well, what I'm trying to say is, the first movie did it better, but at least this one is going back to its roots, unlike Batman or Ninjago, where it didn't do it quite as well. So it's good to see this movie's back to its original pace. Animation. Well, the animation has definitely improved, but that's not really saying a lot. First off, the character designs still look like minifigures, which is cool. Some other characters, like, you got the characters from the Sistar system, like General Mayhem, the Stars, the Heart, look really cool. They definitely have this, like, really, like Lego Friends look. The Duplo looks actually quite terrifying and quite fun. And Queen Whatever I Will Not Be is probably the best looking character in the film. Every time she shape shifts into another character, another object, it's so much fun, and I think she's probably, well, she's visually the best looking character in the film, and I enjoy her every time she's on screen. The backgrounds may look a bit realistic, but they do have some of the elements of the first film, like the sand. I think there's a bit of smoke and explosions and fire and water in there, but not much. When they go into outer space and when you see the backgrounds of Apocalypseburg, it has a bit of a realistic background, but it never took me out the film too much where I thought, oh, this doesn't seem right. Look, the first Lego movie did it better, but this one, I'll give credit where at least they tried to make it feel like you're in this environment, whether you're in Rex Dangervest's ship, in the Sistar system, or in Apocalypseburg. At least it's trying to make you feel like you are actually playing with these toys in a realistic background. I'll give it that. But I just prefer the first movie where there's attention to detail. This movie has attention to detail, but it's more colourful than attention to detail. Like literally, Sistar system is so colourful, while Apocalypseburg is more dirty and grey and not very pleasant and kind of moody. Rex's ship is like very cool looking and very blue and awesome, and everything like the velociraptors and these plantimals that Emmet and Rex have to fight off is quite cool looking. The Duplo looks great. This movie's attention to detail is still there, but not quite as impressive as the first film. I'll just put it that way. Characters and acting. Okay, so let's start off with two characters that are personally the best ones in the film. Rex Dangervest, voiced, funnily enough, by Chris Pratt also. He's basically like the tougher version of Emmet that Emmet wasn't at all. Not only is he funny, charming, and makes great references to the actor, but he's probably the most interesting one out of all of them, of the new characters. Okay, as the movie would go on into the third act, his role may seem kind of obvious, but at least he still delivers a fantastic performance, and at least he kind of has a point, and maybe a slightly meaningful theme in the movie, I suppose. And what they do with the character is quite fun and very meaningful, and I actually enjoyed him. Even though his role made it seem obvious, and that's at the point where I thought I saw it coming, but it didn't take me out of the movie completely. But the internet loves to spoil things before I see it, so thanks, internet. Second favourite character is Queen Whatever I Will Not Be, voiced by Tiffany Haddish. Like I said, she's a visually amazing looking character, but she's also a really funny and charming character, and I enjoyed every time she's in a scene with either Batman or Lucy or General Mayhem. It's so much fun and so creative, and God, she just puts a smile on my face every time she moves. And when it comes to her and Batman, that's why I thought the movie got quite sweet and quite fun. I really enjoyed that. So yeah, Rex Dangervest and Queen Whatever I Will Not Be, best characters in the film and the most interesting ones. As for the rest, there's General Mayhem, who at first I didn't really think was all that interesting, but when it got to the second, I think second act to the third act, I actually liked her a lot more than I imagined. There's this ice cream voiced by Richard Ayoade, who you may know from the IT Crowd. Hopefully I pronounced his second name. There's this vampire teenager voiced by Noel Fielding. Sorry. There's this banana voiced by Ben Squats, who plays Louie from the DuckTales reboot, I believe. There's more cameos in this film than I can kind of imagine. There's even like a freaking, John McCain cameo, and I believe that is Bruce Willis in there too. So that's weird, but I enjoy that. As for the recurring characters, okay, well, let's get this out the way. Metalbeard, Benny, Unikitty, don't really do much, so they don't really count. They're just like the characters from Trolls. They're just in the background doing things, and they don't really do a lot. I mean, yeah, they help the heroes, but that's about it. The only three characters that you should care about is Emmet, Lucy, and I guess Batman. But unlike the first film where his role is actually more prominent, here he's not in the film for that long. Maybe for about a good 25 minutes. Which involves him and the subplot where he has to marry the Queen, whatever I would not be, which is actually quite funny and probably one of the best scenes of the film. Emmet is just Emmet. Granted, he is still funny and charming and just a delight, but I'll give it that the direction they took with him is interesting, where they had to try and make him tougher than just being naive and so happy all the time. I'll give it that, and he is still funny and I still like him. Lucy gets more interesting too. She's kind of taken on Emmet's part where she has to, try and figure out what's going on and stop these people from invading Earth and doing all sorts of bad things. Her chemistry with Emmet is still there, and her chemistry with maybe the other characters is fine. So in terms of new characters, Rex, Danger Vest, Queen, whatever I would not be, are my favourites. For the old ones, I still really like Lucy and Emmet the most here. Batman's still kind of funny, and the other comic reliefs are just there, but not much. Unikitty can be funny once in a while, I suppose. As for some minor characters, there's Lord Business, who's literally not in the film for that long. He's at the beginning and at the end. That's it. Bad Cop is barely in the film at all, and you don't see him again. And Scribble Cop, some other recurring characters that are barely in the film as well. So again, Lucy, Wildstyle, Emmet, Batman, Rex, Queen, whatever I would not be, General Mayhem, Unikitty, Benny, and Metalbeard are pretty much the only characters that have more of a bigger role. The voice acting, once again, is quite terrific. Chris Pratt playing both the naive and just simple Emmet and the tough, rough, and just manly sounding like Rex is fantastic, and I think it sounds like he's having fun with his role. Lucy, voiced by Elizabeth Banks, she's still charming and fun. Will Arnett as Batman is still amazing. Metalbeard, Nick Offerman, still quite fun. Benny, Charlie Day, definitely still knows how to be loud. Alison Bry is still amazing as Unikitty. Tiffany Haddish as Queen Whatever I Would Not Be is so much fun, and she is probably one of the better performances in the film, I believe. General Mayhem's not bad. The cameos, like I said, Noel Fielding, the guy from the IT Crowd, whose name I can't pronounce, the guy who voices the Banana Peel is all wonderful. And you got Superman like Channing Tatum and Green Lantern, Jonah Hill, but they're only in the film for literally just a few seconds. Still great. Even if these characters are not quite as strong as from the first time, the second time around, they're still more fun, likeable, charming, and definitely have heart to it. And even if you have great voice acting, these characters still feel like, well, actual Legos to play with and party and all that. On a side note, the score by Mark Mothersbaugh is still fun and charming and delightful in a way. And like I mentioned, the songs in the film are really damn good. It's not really a musical, more like a jukebox musical, if I do say so myself, but in a fun and self-aware way. Yeah, the first movie's better. Sorry about that. This movie's not bad by any means, but it's just kind of a downgrade from the first one. I say it's the third best, which will go from the weakest one, which is Lego Ninjago, this, Lego Batman, and then the first one. The problems that this movie has is that it's kind of repeated, and the human side, while the heart and message is there, there's not really much to say about it since it's kind of what you expect. The movie's predictable, but at least they acknowledge that it's, for kids and families. The songs are surprisingly good. The animation does improve even if it's not completely Lego-fied. The characters, old and new, are fun, likeable, charming, and there's going to be one you're going to love. Personally, Rex Danger Vest and Queen Whatever I Would Not Be as the new ones, and Lucy and Emmett as old. The voice acting is fantastic. The score is amazing. If you've seen the Lego Movie, check it out. If you haven't seen the Lego Movie and you're interested in this one, my best recommendation is watch the first one, then watch this one. Lego Batman and Ninjago. You can watch them too, but they don't count. They have nothing to do with the universe. They're just kind of their own thing. I will give the film. I'm a bit troubled here. At the moment it's a 9. I know, but I know Lego Batman's higher, but I might go see it again because I'm not entirely sure. It might be a 9 or a 9.2. For now, it's a 9. So yeah, that's the Lego Movie 2 done. I don't know what I'm going to do next. I think I might do a list, which I haven't done yet. So I will be doing that. Funny enough, I might do a review on a movie. I know I said I wouldn't do it, but just one last film that probably won't get blocked because fucking Channel 4 and all that. So I will do a list first. I will get round to doing this movie at some point. It's not really like a popular movie, but it's something. So look out for them. Next will be Captain Marvel, and I won't be doing anything for that. So I'll just go and see it because. So have you seen the Lego Movie 2? Let me know what you think below. I'm actually quite curious. And thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and most importantly, subscribe. Until next time, bye for now. This song's gonna get stuck inside you. This song's gonna get stuck inside your head. I dare you to listen to the song over and over and over and tell me if you can't get it out of your head. Seriously.